Hello, welcome to my channel, Another Bibliophile Reads. My name is Greg, and I am here to do a short announcement for my February fantasy stories. This was a sort of group read created by the Bookish Bryants. I did originally see it on Michael K Vaughan's channel, and what this is this just is sort of an invitation to read more fantasy during the month of February. Now, I am not normally a very heavy fantasy reader. When I was in high school, I did read a lot of fantasy, but that was a long time ago. But I decided, because of a booktube spin choice, that I am going to try this little challenge and read 4 short fantasy books this month. And it's broken out into categories. And the first category for the first week of February is classic fantasy. So I'm going to read Swords and Deviltry by Fritz, Lieber. This book is a little over the limit. It's 254 pages, but it starts on page 9. So I'm going to say that this counts as a short, under 250. Now, I may have read one of these stories in high school. I think I read the most famous Ilmet in Elkmar, whatever it's called. Lankamar. I read that in high school. I don't remember anything about it, but I have not read any of the other stories in this collection. And these were published between 1962 and 1970. And this particular edition or collection was published in 1970, so it counts as classic fantasy. The next week, week 2, is Swords and Sorcery. So I am going to be reading the first book of the Sword Trilogy, and the title of that one is The Knight of Swords. And now, I know I read this whole collection in high school, but again, I don't remember a dang thing about it. So that will be my Swords and Sorcery selection. Week 3 is dark fantasy, and I am going to be reading Tanith Knight's Master. Now, this was my booktube spin for booktube spin number 5. When I looked this up under Storygraph, this is listed as both fantasy and horror. So I am going to say that that counts as a dark fantasy. The final week, number 4, is urban fantasy. And I had a little bit of trouble picking out an urban fantasy book to read because I am on this 100 book challenge where I'm not supposed to be buying any books until I read 100 books. So what I came up with is The Case of Charles Dexter Ward by H.P. Lovecraft. This features a wizard. This features unspeakable magic and monsters, and it is set in the city of Provincetown, Rhode Island. So I made a comment on the Bookish Bryants saying, hey, do you think this counts as urban fantasy? And both of them replied, yep, counts as urban fantasy. So The Case of Charles Dexter Ward will be my urban fantasy. Now, this is a novel that I did read in high school, but it's been a long time, and I do want to reread it. So that is my February Fantasy Stories selections. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Goodbye.